Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me, Vulcan. Today I am playing on Straight Ahead 2v2 and I am on the NATO side. Now my teammate is actually a level 1 in this game, which is something I wouldn't normally do, but I thought, hey, I'll give him a chance and see how he goes. Now he probably has played the campaign, so because when I saw his unit choice, basically it wasn't too bad, so I wasn't that concerned. So I'm just going to switch to my point of view now. I did use a few pointers throughout the game to I basically typed to him, gave him a rough idea of some help. But I'm not sure if he took it, not sure if he could even read English. But it didn't matter, because this map should really be called Straightforward, because that's what this match certainly was. Now, it actually lasts 10 minutes, and you'll see why, and I'll explain why it happens that so quickly as we get started. So anyway, this guy's going for a very bulk heavy attack. He's got 4 M1 Abrams, 4 Chaparrals, followed by 3 ERC-90 Sangays, which are the French recon units. I actually quite like these units, but I prefer to use looks. He's got 4 ITOs, very good choice. It's just he has to use them properly. These are all very good units, except from the M151A1 commands, because they're not armoured, and I would much have preferred it if he had used armoured vehicles, but in the end it didn't matter. He's got 2 Marder 1A2s, don't really care much for them. Cobras, fair enough, and a Gazelle. He's got an excellent Gazelle recon helicopter there. So as long as he uses his forces okay, he's going to survive well on the right. I decided to go for a very rush heavy strategy because I had a level 1 teammate. I thought that I would have to compensate a lot for that, and therefore I decided to give him some base AA, as well as providing a couple for myself. I've got M113s with Stinger squads in them. I've got 12 Vuks with Jaegers. We're supported by 2 Looks armoured recons with 2 Marder Roland 2s following up the back of that rush, and also they come with 2 Gazelle cannons, or 4 Gazelle cannons should I say, with a Gazelle recon helicopter. This Sultan was going to head up to Echo, and I decided to bring in 2 Chaparrals and a Hempt to go with that, so that they could keep resupplied throughout the battle. Now basically we're just waiting for the game to start now. I wasn't too sure how this was going to pan out. Obviously, him being a level 1 and not being very experienced in multiplayer games, he may have played the single player a lot, but in multiplayer it may not be the case. But he certainly gets off to a quick start, and so do I with my rush. So my Gazelles fly off and my Fuks start travelling down this road here. This is my rush route. I'm going up to Echo, through Echo, up to Bravo, and I'm going to basically camp this forest so I can push into Alpha when I get the chance. Now my Gazelle is moving with these cannons, and my Sultan and Chaparral are moving up the back to come into Echo. Here you can see that I'm bringing in a couple of Fuchs units and Looks to cover the roads for a counter rush, and on the right my teammate is trying to secure India and Juliet with M1A1 or M151A1 commands. Now what I really was cringing about was that he was leading with his command vehicles. Cobras and a Gazelle recon helicopter are not going to defend an M151A1 command against even the slightest helicopter. Anyway, over here you can see their team is doing the same, and I spot this UAZ with my Gazelle AH1, and as soon as I see it, in go the cannons. Now these are disposable helicopters, and all I was trying to do at this point is get them to fire on this UAZ. They start to open fire and they take out a BTR and another one. And the lucky thing is a shot onto that UAZ, which is unarmoured, takes it out in like a couple of shots from the autocannon, which is insane. And I'm so lucky to take that out. But that just shows why you need an armoured vehicle for a command. Now, so as soon as that's done, I try and pull them back, and unfortunately they all get destroyed by the Tunguskas. But that is more than enough damage done there. Each of my Gazelles cost 20 each. That command vehicle is 200 points down the drain, and each of these APCs are 10 each. And you can see here, at this point, they've got 100 points, and I've got 220. And that was definitely a good trade, because it means he's not going to be getting his points from Delta. So anyway, I decided to stop my troops for a little bit down here, just to let my Armada Rolands catch up for a bit, but they continue the rush up to Bravo, and as they come over this hill, all hell breaks loose, and it is seriously awesome. Now, I'm not used to bumping into battles that actually last so long like this, but my Lux recon gets destroyed at the front, so the one at the back I decide to keep back while these Jaegers do the damage against these T-72Gs, which are the East German variant of the T-72, and the rest of my Jaegers begin to take on these Moto Strelki in the forests. Absolutely insane how big this firefight is. I've got 120 men facing off against their massive amount of men, and as soon as I see his BRDM, which has moved into Bravo, I decide to bring up my Lux, and as soon as my Lux gets into range, he starts pounding this BRDM inside. And this is good because they've brought in an armoured command vehicle, which is clever because you can see how much longer it takes to kill. But thankfully, I think due to a rocket from a Jaeger squad, I managed to take that out after damaging it with the Lux. And once that's done, again, successful rush. I've done a lot of damage now. You can see that I am now on 938 points, and the enemy team are on 402. On the right side, my teammate's done reasonably well against the enemy, securing himself 245 points. But our team is winning very well, and I'm glad that the guy on the right didn't just throw away his troops, because otherwise it could have gone seriously wrong. Now, with this rush sort of completed, he starts arting me, and because all my men are grouped up into squads, they don't all run away if they're routing, if some of the units are routing. So what I do is, you can see, I split up all of my Jaegers and take out the ones that aren't routing, just so that I can get them into the forest onto the left, away from all this arty. Now, these Jaegers continue to take on Motor Strelki and the other APCs left in the woods, and I bring in my Fuchs over to the left as well, just to keep them safe. Anyway, here you can see, seeing this armoured recon, I decide to focus fire that over the enemy infantry and APCs that are around, purely because if he doesn't have recon, he's going to find it a lot harder to see infantry squads. Now, this is because infantry squads are of a very small size, which means that they're a lot harder to see by recon units which don't have good optics. But yeah, you can see here these units just continue to rout, but I've recovered a few maybe less damaged units, and as he brings some T-62s into the forest, my Jaegers swiftly take care of them after this Jaeger squad takes some damage of its own, as it doesn't have any rockets left. However, this one compensates, does a little bit of damage to the front of the T-62, but they eventually get taken out by those two squads. In the meantime, I've set up base at Echo as I originally planned. My Hemp's in range to repair and resupply the chaparrals. The Fuchs and Jaegers have been released. I probably just forgot to unload those Fuchs throughout the entire game. At base, I've unloaded them, and he's basically set up a nice defense on the right, surprisingly, although he does lack a lot of AA. He doesn't actually have any AA on the right side of the river. His AA is all stuck here. Anyway, with my rush being successful on the left, I continue to push up my troops and do as much damage as possible. Move the Fuchs forwards so that they can use their machine guns on these infantry squads that are left over. And my recons got away from the battle now. And over here in the middle you can see trying to get some Mi-24Ds behind my lines, but luckily my chaparral's on station to take care of both of them. Now once this is all done, you can see that I decide to pull all of my troops back. Now I have 5 Fuchs left, and I have 5 Jaeger squads left. So at this point it's a good time to pull back, because if I replenish these Jaegers, I can refill the Fuchs and send them back up again for another attack. So here you can see I've already sort of decided that beforehand, and you can see the Hemps coming up to sit in this bush while the Jaegers run back to this position. I've also brought back the Marder Roland 2s, which were supporting the original advance. They never needed to be there, but you should always be careful. You never want to leave out any piece of the jigsaw. So here you can see my looks now scouting in towards his main base. This is basically to try and find his command vehicle. Also here you can see my recon helicopter has also scouted around the left to see what he can see. Now with that, I brought in 2 AS-1 or AH-1S Cobras. This is because I actually do spot his command vehicle before this, and it's sitting somewhere around here behind his Strullers. Now if I didn't know exactly where it was, I could guess it was in this area, basically because he had AA there. It could have been just to support his artillery, but because his artillery is so mobile, he could have just moved that anywhere, so you wouldn't have static AA infantry to defend that. You use static AA infantry to defend your base and where your command vehicle is, because you're not going to move it very often. Anyway, with that looks pushing in, I actually attack this Mi-26, which forces him to take it off and away from base. But in the meantime, my Gazelle and AH Cobras are just getting into position really, so that I can try and spot his command vehicle again. Now on the right, he's doing reasonably well. He hasn't actually lost too much. He's got more points than both of the enemies. And I find that quite admirable for a level 1 teammate, so I was definitely right not to underestimate him. He starts just pounding Echo with some random artillery, but luckily he doesn't know exactly where my Sultan is, so it doesn't matter too much. But here you can see I've now spotted the UAZ. These Gazelles unfortunately fly over a ton of APCs and Moto Shalki. Seeing the UAZ there, I bring back my Cobras, which just about get away from Afghansky. But here we go, and here's the final blow, taking out his last UAZ, which again is unarmoured and would have caused him to lose the game. And with that dead, boom, off goes all his troops. And there you have it, guys. A simple, straightforward game on Straight Ahead. And I just wanted to show you this one purely because I had a level 1 teammate, as you can see right there, number 1. Never played a multiplayer game in his life on Wargame European Escalation. So yeah, I was against 2 level 26 opponents. They did well, I suppose, but they could have done better to defend their command vehicles, and never ever ever lead with command vehicles like that my teammate did on my right, and the enemy did in the middle, because that's what gets them killed, especially if they're unarmored, because you're going to lose them pretty easily. And my gazelle cannons took extreme advantage of that, and as soon as I clutched the initiative, I just went for it and took out Bravo as well, and then finished him off at his base. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I've never played this map for you guys before, so again, new map as well. Not so much new units, but a nice strategy for you guys to see. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, hope you learnt something, and I'll see you in the next video guys. Goodbye.